Hello and welcome. I am always excited to be with everyone. This is what I often call Transformational Tuesdays. So let's see what we can do to help you transform not only your Tuesday, but your life. So I'm Lisa Barnett. I am the founder of Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom. And my greatest joy is to help people release their emotional pain and trauma. And, you know, what of course we all notice is that just in this last 2 years, we layered on a boatload of more, right, pain and trauma. And so we add that on top of our childhood trauma, our abandonment issues, our broken hearts, all of those different kinds of emotional pains that truly have come to affect our lives in so many different ways. So I love to teach people to access their own Akashic Records because it is one of the greatest empowerment tools on the planet today. So it is so much more than just learning to be a little more intuitive. The way I teach my Akashic workshops online is to teach you the 5-step wisdom prayer system that the Akashic record keepers have given me many, many years ago. And the reason that they gave it to me is because they said, it is time. The time is truly now to step into our own power, to empower ourselves with these sorts of tools. And on top of that, they also offer lots of simple guided meditations, visualizations that are also tools. So today, let's see, we will open the group records, bring you all into the Akashic energy with me. We will do one of the guided visualizations to start to help you. I think we're going to call back our energy, which is one of my favorite tools they've given me. And so everybody gets to call back their energy. And then we'll go through and we will do group healing for everybody, you know, kind of based on what shows up in the chat. So all that said, the other thing I wanted to talk about briefly before we totally dive into the healing aspect is that I have 2 new books coming out. So the first one, hopefully you will keep your eyes open in October or November for Your Soul Has a Plan, Awaken to Your Life Purpose. That is my 3rd book that'll be coming out this year. And then in 2023, I have a beautiful compilation book called Akasha. And I am inviting you to add your Akashic stories. And so Ella's putting that link in the chat. And you actually go through sacred stories, you write out your experience of accessing the Akashic records. And sometimes it's through a guided meditation, or sometimes it's many of my students are writing what has happened from accessing the records and how it's really transformed their lives. And some people access their records in a dream state. And so people are writing stories about that. So whatever your kind of very phenomenal experience of the Akasha that you want to share, I'd love to have you add it to the book. That book is coming out probably next summer or even next fall, but the call for stories ends in September. So my suggestion is to jump in with if you want to be a part of the book, is to add that as soon as possible, because once they kind of get enough stories, then, you know, they're going to, of course, pick the best out of the stories. But if yours is earlier, greater likelihood of getting in. So do you have that that link, Ella, or do I need to grab that one?
For Akasha? Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Oh, maybe it's, oh, okay. It's so good. Thank you.
And then do me a favor and just pin your video. Just so
Okay.
it stays on you.
It is pinned.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
So we are good. Okay. So lovely to see you, everyone. Terrific. Oh, I'm just reading, read my books, and yeah, that's so fun. So Ella's kind of keeping track of what we want to work on: clear our mental, emotional, physical bodies, all 12 bodies in combination. No big requests. Don't, I will tell you, if I even clear your 6 chakras, that takes about 30 minutes. So they're processes. I would love everything to be instantaneous, but coming soon. It hasn't quite hit that yet, but coming soon. So we will do what we can in the moment. So let's open the records and dive in. So if you can, looks like most of you are sitting at home comfortable. So let's just sit back and drop down into our 4th chakra, heart. And then I like to imagine our heart center opening and expanding. Oh, and spinning a little bit faster. It turns into a beautiful spinning ball of golden energy and light. And then we move up to our sacred heart, which is the high heart, which is right about where my necklace is, where the thymus is, right? So right where you tap on your thymus on your breastplate, that is a spiritual high heart. And so we open the high heart and we merge it with our 4th chakra heart, and we bring them together, creating a beautiful energy of this very sacred spiritual heart. And let's all activate our tripod grounding system. If you are not familiar with that tool that I teach, we come drop all the way down your legs and into your feet. And we like to grow some nice thick roots from the bottom of your feet. We have feet chakras too that grow roots down, 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 down into the earth and out to create a really nice big grounding field of roots from our feet. And then we come back up into the back of our 1st chakra, the base of your spine. And we create a beautiful, big, wide grounding cord that goes all the way to the center of the earth. So we have this beautiful tripod grounding system, keeping us in our bodies and grounded as we do this expansive work. And we have our sacred heart open and expanding. And we ask the divine lords of unconditional love to help us center fully in this moment as we create this sacred space. Please wrap us in your love and protection and allow us to travel to the highest realms of the Akasha available to us today. Please help us relay our multidimensional hearts open to divine love and release all resistance. Lords of the Akashic Record, please guide us to the deepest truth we can access now. Support us in healing and releasing that which no longer serves on our true path. We give great thanks for your divine love and support on this journey today. Just let yourself feel or notice what you notice. I see a beautiful silvery blue column of light encircling us all. So it's actually encircling the whole planet because there's people all over the world. And our hearts are open and as big as our body. As we stay grounded and present right here and now. And I mentioned in the beginning, we are going to do one of the wonderful tools the Akashic Record Keepers have given us, and that is to help us call back our own energy that we leave scattered about all over the world. Especially because we're doing often so many different events and Zoom calls and teleseminars, etc., all around the world. And we connect to people and we often forget to bring our energy back home into our physical and energetic bodies. So imagine a beautiful golden sun that hovers just about an inch above the top of your head. And I imagine it as a beautiful golden magnetic sun, and we invite it to start to spin. And as our golden magnetic sun spins, it is calling back your energy. That is the intention and purpose of this beautiful magnetic golden spinning ball of light above your head. And so just letting yourself breathe. Noticing what you notice. You might see colors coming back. You might picture people that you've given your energy away to. It might be a place. Maybe it was a trip or a vacation, or maybe you left energy at your job or your work or your office, or you've traveled someplace for an event. And we're calling it all back for your highest good. Only your energy, your pure, clear soul energy. And as this beautiful energy of you returns home, it's kind of connecting back into that magnetic golden sun. We invite the spinning ball of light to stop its spin. And as it stops, we invite it to melt. All of that beautiful golden energy and light of you melts and comes down into your crown chakra, returning into your body to its highest and best place to be. And so you might feel it in your body. Sometimes it feels warm or cool or buzzy or tingly or swirly, whatever it is for you, it's just perfect. We invite it to integrate down into the cellular level or into the auric field, if that's where it's from. We invite it to integrate in with ease and grace. And feeling really grounded and centered again, just kind of reactivating, reawakening your tripod grounding system as you come present right here and right now in this moment. Beautiful. All right. Lovely. I always feel just more energized, more complete, kind of more present when I do that. And that's a lovely, simple tool that you can use every day. You don't have to be able to access your own Akashic records to do that. Although often accessing your records really kind of supercharges all the tools they teach us, but not necessary. And that's why I love to do these group calls so that we can get together and I can do some healing for you. So thank you, Michelle. Good. So let's do a little group healing. Let's see what's showing up. Ella, are you getting a sense of what's coming up to be worked on first?
So there's definitely a few questions, which is cool, around clearing blockages around money, self-sabotage, business growth, that whole theme. So I
Right.
think some group healing in there. So clearing any internal, external blockages, specifically around money, productivity, etc.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So of course, this year of 2022 is all about building a new foundation to create the new earth. And part of that foundation building is about digging out the old rubble and garbage, right? So if you ever watch them build a building or a house, first they're digging out the old garbage, right? That's what we've been noticing, I think, a lot of. And that's really why I do these calls, so that we can lay a beautiful, pure, pristine, kind of high vibrational foundation to build the new earth on. And that includes for you to create new relationships, new careers, new businesses, if you're called to do something like create a new business. But it is important. So the money issue, the abundance blocks, the vows of poverty all affect us because they've been here on our planet for really, I'm going to say a lot of the last 5,000 years. So ever since we have been kind of into creating churches and temples, we've often made vows to the people who are the leaders of those churches or temples. And we vow to we make vows of poverty saying, I will not take money for my spiritual gifts. I will give you all of my money, right? Which has made a lot of churches and very wealthy. So it's time, because a lot of these vows are hundreds and thousands of years old, many, 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 many hundreds of lifetimes old even, as well as in this last, I'm going to say in the last 1,000 years, there was a lot of religious growth on our planet, especially with Catholicism and Christianity. And so there's a lot of vows of poverty connected into the lifetimes where we've been nuns or priests or monks, or you know, we could have been, you know, in any other sort of spiritual teaching or religion, because there's lots of religions. And I would say that most of them have some version of that, which is interesting. And even I've known a couple of nuns in this lifetime who say that they did absolutely, even in this day and age, take vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience when they join the church. So as a nun. So let's do that to start with, and then we'll work on a variety of other things that block us. And we definitely want to do some work around creating our own business, because it just feels like there's so much of that that is really useful for us to go forward and start to create our own careers, our own businesses. So let's start with vows of poverty. The record keepers just want to start with the last 1,000 years because there's tons there, and then we'll kind of swoop back 5,000 years and then clear the rest of that. So just, feel yourself. For many of us, it's easier if we close our eyes. You may get pictures, you may notice past lives, because I brought you all into the Akashic field with me. And so you're here in this collective Akashic group, and your personal Akashic record keepers are here with you. And so we ask them to help us to clear our own personal vows of poverty from any lifetime in the last 1,000 years where we may have taken a vow of poverty, chastity, or obedience. I love to get rid of, well, who needs chastity or obedience either? I mean, really? So, so definitely, so often the way I see this is really, I see the record keepers kind of draining all of the energy out of these vows. And one of the reasons that I find the vows of poverty are so important, because part of that vow is, I will not take money for my God-given gifts, is often the way that was said, or my spiritual gifts. And for all of us healers and psychics and intuitives and Akashic record people, right, readers, that's kind of making it hard for you to make a living doing what you do, sharing your gifts, right? So it's so important to I burn them. I see the record keepers all burn them. So if you get any of those kind of visuals of flames or fire, it's really our record keepers burning those old vows. I see them often like a paper scroll. If you had a old parchment scroll that you signed that vow of poverty on, they go up in flame very easily. So they're relatively easy to release, but we've taken them so many different times, especially because we are the light workers of the world. We are here to help humanity transform. And we've been trying to do this for at least the last 1,000, if not the last 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years, right? We come back again and again and again to try and hold the higher light, to teach spiritual wisdom, which is very different than a religious dogma, right? So there's also, I might go and try and pull that out quickly. I have I've channeled the 73 prayers to transform your life. And one of those, if I can do this, is really to clear a lot of this old religious kind of energy dogma too, which helps to free us up, because a lot of the church energies are connected to us giving them their money and not keeping it for ourselves. So let me get that prayer, because that's a good one too. So the record keepers are like, oh, yep, read that one. All right. Oh, that's a good one too. 73 prayers. There's a lot of good ones in that book. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. I use it all the time. I just channel this stuff. So it's kind of funny for me to say those things, but it is the way it works. So, okay. Good. All right. So we're just clearing all of these vows over these last 1,000 years, releasing, deleting, burning them up, and reclaiming all of that energy that has been stuck or lost to those vows of poverty. And then we're going to go back again. Let's just jump back the last, we'll call it 8,000 years. And clear. Let's see. All those vows of poverty. I think they're different than, right, than the more recent ones. Hmm. Interesting. All right. They kind of look like little exploding fireworks, actually, is how they're showing up. They're just kind of blowing them up all the way, kind of down the energetic timeline, because we're in this quantum field, so there is no time and space. So however, sometimes those things show up for you is just all perfect. It's a lot of good stuff to get rid of. So just, we want to clear it out of everyone's energy field to continue to move it on and out and right through, because what you may notice, and so I like to remind people, taking Epsom salt baths, even saging, things like that are helpful to clear, release, and move the energy that's clearing through your auric field to speed its motion out. So that can be super helpful for people, especially a lot of times people will kind of feel energy as it leaves. And so when we're doing a lot of work, especially on trauma, then it helps move it out more quickly, so you don't have to relive it. I don't want you to re-feel the sadness or the pain or any of that energy. Okay. So just filling everyone back up with their highest Akashic energy, light, and wisdom. And I want to do some clearing around being able to step more fully into our power to create whatever it is you want to create. So whether it is a business or a relationship, or you're not sure yet, or maybe it's a new job, or maybe it's a new place to live, or, you know, it could be anything, kind of about the energy of being able to create what our heart desires. And for many of us, what happens is that we don't feel really worthy. And so we get stuck in worthiness, and that will slow us down, right? So really just clearing the energy of unworthiness, low self-esteem, anything that blocks you from creating something new. I always get a lot of energy around abandonment, but I think I want to do that somewhere else, in a different kind of collective energy. All right, and let's do the procrastination and self-sabotage here, because that feels very intrinsic to being able to create what your life desire, what your heart desires. Whew, so much for language. We will work on clearing procrastination and self-sabotage because they are so important as we go forward. And again, you know, we're looking at a process that may take us, you know, 1 to 10 years. So the earth is dense. Well, the earth is awakening, but humanity is dense. Gaia is awakening, so that's fabulous. But still, most of humanity is tremendously dense and very stuck in victimhood and blame and shame and anger and pain. So, again, that's all of those aspects, and a lot of that will kind of hold us back and trigger procrastination, as often does, right? Anxiety often throws us into a place of procrastination, which triggers, you know, I mean, that feels like self-sabotage, right? So, let's see what we can clear on anxiety and procrastination. They're, what they look like to me right now is they look like hooks that are going into the earth, and often hook like into our back. And and so it looks like we're running in place and we can't move because we're held down. And so those are a lot of these old earth energies that have been holding us in place, really triggering a lot of these other pieces like procrastination or self-sabotage. And then as we start to clear the unworthiness, then that also helps with the self-sabotage, because we sabotage ourselves because we don't think we're worthy, consciously, unconsciously. So of course, we clear a lot of this out on the unconscious levels and layers also. Yeah. Okay. That's yeah, I see your request, Tia. And yeah, I think that's, many of us have had a lot of these kind of past lives where we were servants or even slaves. I've actually been doing a lot of clearing around this old slave programming and slave contracts and things. And these kind of servant ones where maybe we lived in the house, maybe we really didn't end up making any money because we lived there, we were fed, and they called that your room and board in trade for the work you did. So for many of us, and then of course there was often abuse, whether it was sexual abuse or physical abuse. There was often, you know, levels of abuse between the lady of the house and the man of the house. So let's clear all of that energy, because we made vows that said, I never want to be rich again, because rich people hurt people. Rich people are bad. So we're clearing, let's clear all those vows through, really, again, we'll just go with the last 10,000 years. Why not? I think they're more, well, you know, I think a lot of this is in the last 5,000, you know, back 3,000 BC, 4,000 BC. there was always wealthier people who had other people doing their work for them. So definitely want to clear any vow that said, I will not be rich. Rich people are bad. I do not want to have money. Money makes me bad, right? So we actually blame the money for the badness. So I'm clearing all of those kind of layers. So thank you for bringing that up, Tia. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're way older than we think we are. I really think that we were versions and living here 8,000 BC. And a lot of the Göbekli Tepe, which are huge structures, is a big structure in Turkey. I think they place it at 12, 15, maybe even older, 15,000 BC. They're, you know, we've been here more than once. We may have gotten wiped out by some big flood or ice age or whatever, but we keep coming back. So good. Yeah, the distant past has influence on us, and even some of our galactic lives where we lived on other planets or places, dimensions, can have effects on us because we bring that information or that a lot of people right now and will be coming, I really believe, over the next many years to help transform the planet with really galactic information. Will invent new things to help humanity, to clear the water, to clear the air, to help the earth. But I believe that these are inventions from other worlds already that we built, whatever, 50,000 years ago on another planet. I don't, no time, space, it's all kind of weird and confusing, right? So yeah, I'm always a little unsure how to explain these things, but we are ancient souls, ancient, so friggin' ancient, you can hardly believe it. So we are the ones who are helping ourselves, also other aspects of ourselves, our memories, our ability to start to reclaim this information. Again, this is why the record keepers always say this is the greatest empowerment tool on the planet, to be able to access all of this wisdom for yourself through all time space continuum. So letting go of what no longer serves you, really, just let it go, breathe it out. Some people get chills, some people burp, some people really just blow, like you'll hear me blowing that energy out of my body. So make sure you're letting it go as we're doing this. Good, that felt like a big collective exhale. Right. Right. So many of us, again and again, have been killed for speaking our truth, for telling the truth, for sharing our wisdom, for being the leaders or the teachers or the wise ones or the witches, right? Whatever we were killed for back then. And it's not once or twice for most of us, I'd say 10, 20, 30. I mean, again, if you've lived 500 lifetimes, and you've always been on a spiritual path, the likelihood that you've died at least a dozen or 2 dozen or 3 dozen times for saying something people didn't like or doing something that wasn't approved of in that day and age, right? So that is all very good, all helpful. So good. Okay, so that. Yeah, the difference between the Akashic Records and the Hall of Amente. It's kind of an interesting question. I tend to get the Hall of Amente is a little more earthbound and is more connected to Thoth and Egypt and kind of those ideas, but in truth, they're the same thing. So the Akashic Record is part of the quantum field of source. Our galactic records are there. Our personal earthly records are there. We are now able to access more galactic information than we were able to access even just a year or two ago. And so as the light raises and more information and energies coming to the earth, we are able, or I say we, but my students and the people I teach, and of course myself, are able to access way more expansive information, which I believe is now possible because, of course, of the timing of the amount of light and energy that's coming to the planet. And because we are in the age of Aquarius, we are moving into a golden age. We are creating a golden age. And so this is why we all came, right? This is why we're here. So definitely make sure, don't give up too soon. It may suck out there, and I know it's really hard, but don't give up. I believe that next year will be really a lot higher vibration and easier for most of us. But again, we are building an energy and trying to take humanity with us. So it's quite a bit of, work, and it can be super, super exhausting, and that's all okay. Just keep at it. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do this, and then Ella, let me see what else you're picking up, but Sylvia's, and I know I've seen it probably more than once, heal karma, contracts, emotions on feeling not belonging anywhere. So homeless, lost, nomadic. A lot of us are very, very, very galactic, and we are not always thrilled to be on the planet. So let's see what the record keepers can clear. If there's some old karmic patterns we can let go of. Yeah, and we definitely want to clear the group contracts that keep us kind of hidden, that make us feel like we need to be nomads, we need to stay hidden, we don't want people to see us because we might get killed. So those are really old contracts, especially, well, again, they go back to some of our lifetimes as alchemists, they go back to lifetimes in some of the different goddess temples, when the temples fell back in the 1000, 2000 BC, when the really masculine power became imbalanced, and the men really wanted to take over and wipe out all of the feminine power. Lots of things to clear there. I could just sit here for hours and clear stuff. But another day. So the soul contracts to stay hidden, that any karmic patterns around that. We want to clear the emotional pain of either getting killed or being hidden or losing our family, losing our homes, that connects into that. When the goddess temples fell and we lost our homes and we were often enslaved or killed. So we'll do a layer of clearing around that. And that's very much, there's a lot of the light workers, especially the women, but men also, who are here to help balance male, female energy, right? It's very important in so many ways to bring that back into balance. That will make a huge, huge, huge shift in our world. Right? Right, because when we can get things rebalanced, sooner better, you know, and so that's why there's so many of us working on it. Then I really believe it'll change the thinking on the planet, because the old male power energy has us in so much suffering and pain. So moving out of that is so important. Balancing. So wherever that shows up, right? If you have an imbalanced relationship with any, like, and you're a woman, any men in your life, or you're a man, the women in your life, really, it's a very much about love, respect, support, empowering of all. And then there's a more human aspects of bringing the ideas, the thoughts into balance, the money back into balance. So still here in the US, women make 80% of what men make, even if they're doing the same job. Seems kind of crazy in this country, right? So just clearing kind of all of those, a lot of what the record keepers clear, it looks to me almost like their patterns, they show up kind of like as almost like a weaving. And so they're unweaving a lot of it to help us. Really more is that big collective pattern that's been held in space, in around our world, really these programs that keep us stuck as a world, as a humanity for the last couple thousand years. So as more and more and more of us unweave these patterns, I know they're getting big holes and they're starting to break apart. And I believe that there will be moments almost of like explosion of release, where we can really truly let go of these patterns. So right. And then the record keepers are just trying to help us to ground again, to find a home. Sometimes we're missing our galactic homes. And so to find an energy that resonates with who you are in your body right now, to be able to find that place, that space, or that group here in this life on this earth now. So really bringing that energy in. Ooh. Beautiful. All right. I think we have about 5 minutes left. Ella, what are you seeing out there? Is there stuff on Facebook that
I was gonna say, this has flown by the way. I was like, oh my gosh. But I was gonna say, in the Facebook group, there is a really strong, or the Facebook page, sorry, there's a really strong theme emerging where everybody's been feeling really heavy, fatigued, foggy these past couple weeks. And if there's any kind of energy going on, there's also a big theme in the Zoom chat around essentially around achieving clarity. So I don't know if those two could be interconnected.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And, you know, in all honesty, and I am a big fan of honesty, so I try my best to always be open and honest and transparent, because I think it's useful for everyone. I have been frigging exhausted for weeks too. And what it honestly is kind of a constant upgrading. So the good news is we're upgrading. And for the physical body, it can be very, very exhausting. So what we are doing is we are clearing our light bodies, and we are upgrading our light bodies to hold more light. And we've never done it this way before. So we've never had this experience. And so it feels very different. And then really on top of it, in just probably a little bit less than 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks yesterday, we have the Lions Gate, which is on August 8th. 8/8 is every year the Lions Gate, but this year it feels kind of bigger. Again, I think we are going to just be in this energy from here on out as we are transforming our light bodies, as the portals and the energy from the galactic center is streaming to Earth consistently. We're opening old stargates that haven't been opened on the planet. We're clearing and moving, and I mean, just so much going on in order for us to do what we're doing, which is to awaken, to ascend. And that may be 10 years and that may be 50 years. And no one knows. And I think that is the biggest challenge for us as humans. And the other thing I'm seeing a lot of is kind of lack of clarity, because everything is changing so fast. Even in the records, I can't get a good solid date. I'm trying to, for a business, I'm trying to hone in and lock things down. And I keep getting, not yet, not quite yet, coming soon, so I hear you. It is, could be very, very frustrating. And so the record keepers are really clearing more of the energy of kind of the fear, the worry. We're clearing some of these old patterns of having to know and be in control, right? That's what's we have to let go of in order to really create this new earth, because it's about being in the moment. It's about allowing the universe to bring you gifts and be open and available to receive them. And when we are so booked up and so in control and have everything planned, we're not living in the moment, and we're not available to receive the blessings of the universe. Really, the blessings of your own soul, the gifts that it is trying to give to you. And so their really kind of final point today is one of the greatest things we can do is to meditate more, spend more time in nature, maybe sleep a little more, nap a little bit, leave time and space to let the creative juices flow, and know that it's important to just be really connected to your higher self, your Akashic records, to be able to be available to receive those messages when they show up and to act on them. So letting go a lot of that fear of acting on soul guidance or your intuitive hits or wisdom. Yep. So really, I mean, for me, it's been fascinating too, because I'm really have always been a doer and I'm unable to do. It's kind of a trip. Sometimes I'm like, I'm going to go lay on the couch in the sun for a little bit. I'm just going to chill for a while. I'm going to sleep till 8 and go to bed at 10. And that's really what the body, or at least that's what my body's asking for. And so I'm like, okay, I'm giving you more rest. I'm giving you more water. I'm giving you more sun, more light. We need that vitamin D, more nature, all of the above. That is what opens us to receive in a lot of different ways. So I am so, so grateful that you have all been here with me today. I feel like we've done a lot of profound clearing and healing. And we ask our Akashic record keepers to fill each and every one of us up with our highest Akashic wisdom, light, physical energy, and guidance. And we ask them to wrap us in a beautiful time release bubble so that everything can integrate all the way down to a cellular level over the next few days with ease and grace. And we thank all the record keepers, and we close and lock the group records for now. And so it is. Blessed be. Thank you so, so much for being here with me. I am grateful for you.